Hi, my name is Kevin Small. Uh, I've been talking about all sorts of different things, but I got a story for you. Got a story for you. Um, my granddad, he was something else. He loved ice cream, and anyways, he had this malt maker, and anyways, he would show me how to make ice cream malts and whatnot, and I would make ice cream, homemade ice cream for everyone's birthday. I found my grandmother's recipe, and I didn't make it right. Everything was grainy. I put sugar in there, and I just wouldn't blend it up right, and it was always grainy. Making homemade ice cream. I loved my grandfather, and anyways, he had all sorts of different stories that he would tell. In fact, he would tell the uh, same story over and over and over and over again. Every story he would tell over and over and over and over again, and it was just something else. And we're like, oh yes, yes, we've heard that one. Well, anyways, this one particular story um, he told over and over again was about Lazarus, and in the Bible about rich man Lazarus. And anyways, um, I um, how shall you put it? I thought one day about that story about Lazarus, and anyways, needless to say, one day I felt that I was a Lazarus. Um, in fact, in 2005, um, um, I was living in Lubbock, Texas, and I got a particular magazine that someone had written, maybe from Texas Tech or wherever. There was this expose about Lazarus, and I read it, and it was deep, and I thought about it, and anyways, I had felt that I was a Lazarus, that I was dead, and anyways, I felt that there needed to be a resurrection in my life, and anyway, so I would travel as a sales rep, and I would spend all that time just praying and worshiping God, and anyways, it was something else. Um, Things happened in my life, and that's the way things have happened. Is that the I go for a little bit and get a setback, and then I end up going a little bit further and get another setback, and eventually I get to my destination. But I'm one of those type of sluggers in the boxing ring where he got to go down to the final round, type of thing. But let me say it this way, just say it this way. Um, the story of Lazarus is that there was this guy named Lazarus that he was a beggar. He was a beggar, and he longed to get the crumbs off of the rich man's table. And the fact is that the rich man died, and Lazarus died. When the rich man died, according to what Jesus said in the Bible, the rich man lifted up his eyes and found himself in hell, and the poor man, um, was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. And anyways, needless to say, it was a story about how uh, this guy um, um, wanted all of the good things in life, and he had all of the good things, and Lazarus didn't. and the table was switched. And anyways, in the story, um, it's told like this, that the rich man was able to communicate across the chasm, and the rich man cared about his brothers. He asked if Lazarus could go and tell his brothers about how not to get there. And anyways, he was told they have the law and prophets. If they didn't hear the law and prophets, um, they would neither ever hear from someone who has been raised from the dead. And I thought about that for a while. I thought and I thought and I thought and I thought. Well, anyways, I have to say it this way. Let me conclude by saying it this way. Then I started attending a particular church. Um, and at this particular church, there was this pastor that he felt compelled to preach from the book of James. And anyways, needless to say, he preached from the book of James, pretty much going through every chapter. Well, there's this verse in the book of James that said that there's this cry that goes out from the voice of those who mows your fields because of undue wages. Well, anyways, needless to say, this particular pastor, he ended up talking pretty much every type of thing all through the book of James, but he specifically passed up this particular passage in the book of James. Well, anyways, this particular pastor, eventually decided to have this online type of a Bible teaching, going through the Bible and basically reiterating what the Bible said if you read it. And anyway, so he was doing the book of James again. And now I thought to myself, when the first time he did it, he was like, I was thinking to myself, well, maybe he did it on purpose, maybe he didn't. Maybe he did it on purpose, maybe he didn't. I'm not sure. I'm not going to judge him. I can understand why maybe he didn't, because things going on right now, in the economy, and he's talking this group of people, and so he's doing this online thing again, and he completely glossed over it. In fact, he actually said that when he was online, he actually said the exact opposite thing of what the passage was saying. And he got a little bit more political about things, more Republican-like, capitalistic, and he totally just totally ignored what the Bible was saying in James. It was the most hilarious thing I ever had saw in my life. Well, anyways, as I'm sharing all of this, I'm saying, yes, I felt like I was a Lazarus, but anyways, I just couldn't believe it. Well, anyways, another story that my grandfather told right after this one is he said it this way. He said that there was this blind man. There was this blind man. You see, my grandfather actually, I have to tell you this. When I was born, for some reason, my grandfather made a prophecy about me when I was born. And anyways, my grandfather was just telling stories. But this is a funny thing, because right after my grandfather told this story, he told another story. And I don't understand the point of it. But my grandfather said there was this blind man. There was this blind man. And he was working on his car underneath. He was working on his car underneath the car at nighttime. It may have been like 3 o'clock in the morning. anyways, he said two police officers came by at nighttime because he was making noise and said, "What are you doing?" And the blind man said, I'm working on my car. Can't you see? And my grandfather, he would say it this way. He would just say, he would press his, he would press, he, he would press his finger down and as if he was talking, and he would say, can't you see? And, and I'm like, what? I'm like, why is that so funny? Why is that so funny? I don't get it. I don't know why that's so funny. Because my granddad, he would totally start laughing. He would totally start laughing. And so anyways, I don't understand it. All I can say is I felt like I was Lazarus one time. And anyways, all I can say is needless to say, there's rich men in the world, there's Lazaruses in the world, but anyways, needless to say, that I got to tell you this last thing is that there was this guy. They said, Kevin, I'm going to make you a millionaire. And I'm like, what? What's this about? Well, let me give the full story. You see, evidently, in the charismatic movement, there were a couple of people, whatnot. I didn't know. You know, I grew up Baptist, but anyways, I started hearing on radio about this guy named R.W. Shambach. And I'm like, okay. So I told my wife at the time, newlywed wife, we got to go to Palestine. We got to go to Lake Palestine. We got to see R.W. Shambach. He's having a healing crusade. And so we go down there. He's more Pentecostal. But we go down there and anyway, so it's just right on Lake Palestine, and you know, they do certain things that I wasn't accustomed to. You know, it's one of those types of things I haven't seen in a lot of churches, in which they had everyone come up to the front and they all walk across the stage, and it was like they all getting touched and all healed and whatnot. You know, people do different things different ways. You know, I'm like, if that's what you do, that's what you do. And so anyways, you know, my wife and I, we were there, and you know, and well, anyways, you know, at the end of it, we were in the balcony, and there was this other guy and his wife that was in the balcony. And anyways, I was aspiring to be a minister eventually. And anyways, needless to say, this guy comes up to me and says, Kevin, I'm going to make you a millionaire. I'm like, a millionaire? I don't want to be a millionaire. Shortly after that, I went to go work for an evangelist, and it was just one of those types of things. I'm going to make you a millionaire. I'm like, well, what's this about? Well, all of a sudden, R.W. Sambrock and his security detail, they walked by, and this guy said, hey, Shamrock. And that guy, and R.W. Shambach, just totally ignored this guy. Evidently, this guy was in ministry with R.W. Shambach, and this guy kept on saying, have you ever heard of Alan Cole? Have you ever heard of this guy? Have you ever heard of this guy? And I'm like, no, I've never heard that guy. Never heard that one either. And he kept on saying that. Well, anyways, needless to say, I guess what I'm trying to say is that there was another thing that was said one time. Evidently, that there was going to be a guy that was going to come along, and he was going to go to heaven, and he wasn't even going to be a Christian. And anyways, it's just one of those types of things that I'm not a Christian, but I'm going to go to heaven. And there's a lot of people who are Christians that will never ever see the pearly gates. That's all I have to say. You have a good day.